Colorado High School Activities Association Wrestling is on B106 and B106.com tonight from Fort Morgan High School. It's the Montrose Indians taking on the Fort Morgan Mustangs. As the starting lineups are being introduced right now, and we'll run through these wrestlers momentarily. There will be 10 matches tonight of a possible 14. Keep in mind you can follow us on Twitter at B106. I'll have the final score coming up, obviously, when this is over. Mustangs are wrestling for the third time in as many days. They lost on Wednesday to Legacy 46-27, and yesterday defeated Holyoke by a score of 40-30. Yeah, we'll have open weights at 106, 113, 195, and 285, which means that the Montrose Indians will earn 18 points off of 3 open weights for Fort Morgan. And the Mustangs will have an open weight at 220 where Toby McBride, a sophomore, or check that, he's actually wrestling. Colton Carpenter at 195, a freshman, will be winning by forfeit. Mustangs are also back in action tomorrow at the Roosevelt Invitational, so 4 days of wrestling in a row, competitive matches for this Fort Morgan Mustang team. And assuming they go by order weight, and that's what they normally do, but sometimes you start at a different weight. Then we'll find out exactly who's going to wrestle first. If they go by the weight of order from lowest to highest, Mason Hopkins for Fort Morgan would wrestle against Emmanuel Sandoval of Montrose. We remind you that here from Fort Morgan High School, at blowdornlumber.com, you can browse the virtual showroom, view the current sales, complete a credit application, and shop the entire inventory online. Whether you're a contractor or painting your living room at Blowdorn Lumber, you'll get the same friendly service and advice to make your job easier. Visit Blowdorn Lumber in Fort Morgan at 130 State Street. Now, earlier today, the Fort Morgan Lady Mustang basketball team won their first game of the season. They defeated Skyview Academy in the Berthoud tournament 44-28. So they're 1-4 going into tomorrow's game. I believe they've got Vista Peak at 11:30 in the morning. We'll have both Mustang basketball games tomorrow at 11:30 and 1 right here on B106 and B106.com. Premier Farm Credit is still the lender of choice for America's farmers and ranchers. They understand and are passionate about agriculture. They're dedicated to serving America in good times and bad. Premier Farm Credit, they're the gold standard in ag lending. And look to the team at Aspen Rehabilitation inside Valley View Villa for your sports rehab, short-term or long-term care needs. 815 Fremont, Valley View Villa, or call them 867-8261.
All right. Now for the JV match at 170 pounds for Montrose, Royal Holman, and for the Mustangs, Caleb Bell.
All right, there will be one junior varsity match here before we begin the varsity matches. Keep in mind the Mustang boys basketball team is in action right now in their 5th game of the season. They're 3-1, looking to improve to 4-1 on the campaign. So as the JV match goes on, here's what we've got. At 106 pounds, the Mustangs do not have a wrestler. Terrell Banuelos will wrestle for Montrose at 113. It's an open weight for Fort Morgan again. Gus Reed will be awarded a forfeit victory, as is Terrell Banuelos at 106 for Montrose. At 120, a sophomore, Mason Hopkins, goes for the Mustangs against Emmanuel Sandoval. At 126 pounds, freshman Jason Nelson will take on Nick Solom of Montrose. Sophomore Luis Morales at 132 against Jeff Dick. At 138, senior Cody Carpenter takes on Matt Sandoval. At 145 pounds, the Mustangs have sophomore Frank Rosales against Austin Delgado. Jacob Fritzler, sophomore, wrestles for Fort Morgan at 152 pounds against Ethan Davis. Chris Shriver, a junior, at 160 against Royal Hallman. Brian Alvarez, a sophomore, at 170 for the Mustangs against Mauricio Zuniga. At 182, sophomore Alex Mai will be on the mat for Fort Morgan against Fernando Masqueda. It's an open weight. At 195 for Montrose is Colton Carpenter, a freshman, will be awarded a forfeit victory for Fort Morgan. At 220, sophomore Toby McBride goes for the Mustangs against Davis Power of Montrose, and Montrose gets a third forfeit victory. They will be awarded one at 285. The Mustangs with an open weight, and Jesus Casillas will be wrestling for the Montrose Indians. Before your next mixer or feeder truck purchase, compare the MMI design, craftsmanship, and service. They outperform their competitors hands down. MMI International, call them at 842-5161. And you can visit MCC online, Morgan Community College at morgancc.edu, or stop by the campus for a personal advising session. It'll get you on the right track and find out what options are available to help you. Imagine your possibilities, believe in yourself, and achieve your goal with Morgan Community College. All right, the JV match is going on, so we'll take a break, and we'll come back with more from Fort Morgan High School as the varsity matches will be getting underway momentarily. It's Montrose against Fort Morgan right here on B106 and B106.com. John Beltran back at Fort Morgan High School awaiting the start of the varsity matches. We've just had a pin in the JV match.
And winner by fall from Fort Morgan, Caleb Bell.
And that was at a fall in just over 4 minutes. Not sure of the wrestlers out there. We only have the starting lineups here for
the first varsity match of the evening.
Varsity.
At 145 pounds.
We will start at 145 pounds.
Austin Delgado. And for Fort Morgan,
that'll be Frank Rosales, a sophomore for Fort Morgan, against Austin Delgado. Keep in mind, we'll have match-by-match updates on Twitter at B106. And again, we'll have 10 of a possible 14 matches tonight. Montrose has 13 varsity wrestlers, and the Mustangs with 11. They are underway in the opening varsity match. And the wrestlers go out of bounds 6 seconds into the match. Very aggressive move there by Rosales of Fort Morgan at 145 pounds. On the center of the mat, picks up a single leg. That is the Montrose wrestler, Austin Delgado, on the edge of the mat. And they go out of bounds again with 1:41 to go in the opening period. No score. Of course, conventional wrestling, 3 2-minute periods. Going in for a single leg is Delgado of Montrose. And he takes down Frank Rosales for a quick 2-0 lead. With 1:22 to go in the opening period. 2-0 for Delgado. Right now, Rosales on his knees trying to work his way out of it, but he's taken down again, and this could be a first period pin on the edge of the mat. Got him in a grapevine there with 1 minute to go, and the countdown is on. It's going to be at least a 5-0 advantage here with 50 seconds to go if Rosales can work his way out of getting pinned. Points have not been awarded yet, but once he works his way out of the hold, and they go off the edge of the mat, and it's 5-0 as with 38.7 seconds to go. On the bottom will be Rosales, a sophomore for the Mustangs. And the referee repositioning the wrestlers. And they're back underway. And Rosales nearly picked up and thrown down, but he's trying to wiggle his way out of trouble near off the center of the mat. They off the edge of the mat once again as they just scrambled out of bounds. 29.4 seconds remaining in the opening period. It's Austin Delgado, Montrose 5, and Frank Rosales of Fort Morgan nothing. There's another single leg, tries to pick him up. Now both wrestlers on their feet on the edge of the mat. He's got him wrapped around his waist. Delgado does on Rosales with 12 seconds to go. Not much happening off the center of the mat. And we're going to head to the second period. And Delgado leads by a score of 5-0. So here we go with the second period. Stop, shop, and save on all of your grocery needs and snacks for game time enjoyment. The Brush Grocery Cart. You can also pay your public service bill and access Western Union. Brush Grocery Cart, 1302 West Edison Street in Brush. And again, going in low on that single leg is Delgado of Montrose. But this time, Rosales there to meet him as they go out of bounds 14 seconds into the second period. Still 5-0 in favor of the Montrose wrestler. Of course, select Fort Morgan Mustang matches right here on B106 and B106.com throughout the course of the season. Off to the center of the mat with 1:36 to go. Still 5-0 lead. There's a 2-point takedown. And it's 7-0 in favor of Delgado. If Rosales loses this match, they just turned him over, and now he's got Delgado on his back. So he's picked up 2 points, but I think we're going to have a 2-point reversal. We do. So they exchange 2-pointers. Well, the board says 9-1. I guess it was an escape, and that was it, not necessarily a takedown. 9-1 is the official score with 1:06 to go in the second period. Now it's 9-3. Okay, it was the escape and the takedown, so they have adjusted the score as they go out of bounds with 1:01 to go, second period. Austin Delgado of Montrose with a 9-3 lead at 145 pounds over Fort Morgan sophomore Frank Rosales. Rosales takes bottom. Right now just sprawled on his stomach with Delgado riding him right off the center of the mat. We're down to 46 seconds to go in the second period and not much happening out there. This is where you often find that stalling can be called at some point. 36 seconds remaining. The clock just runs and nothing is really happening out there. Still 9-3 in favor of Delgado of Montrose. Looks like Rosales was looking up at the clock, trying to get ready for the third period. Still a 9-3 lead for Delgado of Montrose. And now he takes him down, and Rosales is in trouble. Can he last the period? It's at least going to be 3 points. Down to 3 seconds to go. Will he last the period? And he will. But it's 12-3 in favor of Delgado of Montrose as we head to the third period. Well, he's looking for a major decision. That's what he would have right now. Technical fall, of course, you need a 15-point lead. Major decision, I believe, is a 7-point advantage, 6 or 7. And there's a takedown. He tripped him up. And a 2-point takedown for Delgado. Now the score is 14-3. And we got 1:37 to go. Yeah, this looks like it's going to be a major decision unless somehow Delgado can come up with a couple of consecutive moves here in the last 85 seconds of the match. Austin Delgado with a 14-3 lead. Whistle stops a stalemate. And with 1:17 to go, they'll reconvene. Delgado on the top and Rosales on the bottom. And right now Delgado trying to turn Rosales over. He's got that left arm tucked inside the other left arm, and he takes him down straight to the mat, near the edge of the mat. And he could be pinning him here any second with 58 seconds to go. And flat on his back is Rosales. There is the pin in 5 minutes and 5 seconds. A 5:05 pin for Austin Delgado. Let's take a break. We'll come back in 30 seconds on B106 and B106.com. Let's move to 152 pounds. Jacob Fritzler, a sophomore for Fort Morgan, against Ethan Davis. And there immediately is a 2-point takedown there for Fritzler. He's got a 2-0 lead. Trying to work his way on his opponent once again. Again, providing updates as we go here on B106 and on Twitter at B106. That was a 5:05 pin by Austin Delgado at 145 pounds. And right now the Mustangs at least trying to get back into contention here, still 2-0. And we have got less than a minute to go in the opening period. The 1-point escape makes it 2-1. Right now just shoulder to shoulder with these two competitors. As it stays at a 2-1 score with 39 seconds to go in the opening period. A 6-0 lead in this duel as a 2-point takedown once again near the edge of the mat gives Fritzler a 4-1 advantage with 25 seconds to go. Down to 15 seconds to go. 2 takedowns by Jacob Fritzler, a sophomore, has given him a 4-1 lead here in the opening period at 152 pounds against Ethan Davis of Montrose. And right now Fritzler just riding his opponent who's got that one knee up, and they'll go to the second period. And it's a 4-1 advantage for Fritzler of Fort Morgan. And got a loose shoelace there. A bank that is committed to their community and keeping banking simple is Morgan Federal Bank. When you need banking advice, stop by and see one of their loan officers Monday through Friday, 321 Ensign. Morgan Federal Bank, there is a difference. Lady Mustang basketball team did win, defeating Skyview Academy 44-28. Mustang boys are playing right now in their second game of the Bertha tournament. Fritzler will take the bottom position here going to the second period with a 4-1 lead at 152 pounds over Ethan Davis of Montrose. Montrose with a 6-0 lead in the duel. The third duel in as many nights for Fort Morgan. And another as a 2-point reversal this time for Jacob Fritzler. Now up 6-1, who had an equipment issue with some headgear with Davis. So they'll go back towards the middle, and Davis will be on the bottom this time, trailing 6-1. 13 seconds into the second period. And Fritzler right now controlling his opponent. Right now he's got Davis flat on his stomach. And he's got those hands right underneath the armpits of the Montrose wrestler, trying to make a move and place him in a pinning position. With 1:25 to go, second period. The Mustang sophomore leads by a score of 6-1. And he's trying to work on that left shoulder. He can maneuver his way on that left shoulder. Perhaps he can extend the lead. But as it stands right now, Ethan Davis on 2 knees right now, staying as low as possible, not to get turned over. Now they're both standing up, and they could both go out of bounds as Davis tried to free himself away from Fritzler, but to no avail. They go out of bounds with 58 seconds to go in the second. It's still a 6-1 lead for Jacob Fritzler of Fort Morgan over Ethan Davis of Montrose. Davis will be in the bottom, and Fritzler immediately tries to pick him up and take him down, but he stays down. No pickup, though. And Davis already looks a little bit winded out there, but Fritzler seems fresh. And he's been like that since the beginning of the match when he had a 2-pointer just seconds in. 34 seconds remaining. Still a 6-1 lead. And Fritzler just riding his opponent. And Davis being very stubborn. He's not going to allow himself to be turned over, at least not right now. As we approach the 15-second mark of the second period. Still a 6-1 lead for Jacob Fritzler of Fort Morgan over Ethan Davis of Montrose. And they might have called locked hands there. 7.1 seconds to go, and again Davis will be on the bottom. And the match resumes. To his feet is Davis and taken down, but no points yet Fritzler tries to go around him. Instead, he gets taken down. Davis with a second with a takedown as they go to the third period. It's now 6-3 in favor of the Fort Morgan Mustangs sophomore, Jacob Fritzler. Yeah, we'll have 5 consecutive matches here before we have our first forfeit win, which will go to Fort Morgan. And now Davis again taking down Fritzler. I think he awarded points there, but they're not up yet on the board. And nothing doing. Still 6-3 with 1:41 to go in the match. No, there's the point, 6-5. So it was a 2-point takedown to begin the third period. So Fritzler with a 6-1 lead at one point, not trying to hold on and win this match. And that time a 2-point reversal gives the Mustangs sophomore an 8-5 lead with 1:26 to go in the match. This is at 152 pounds as they sprawl towards the edge of the mat, but they're well in bounds right now. Fritzler trying to maneuver his opponent and turn him over. Yeah, just sprawling towards the edge of the mat. Looks like Fritzler wants to keep him within the circle. Davis stands up trying to extricate himself, and he does from Fritzler. That's a 1-point escape. We have 54 seconds to go. 8-6 is the score. 8-6 in favor of Fritzler. Head-to-head right now. Near the edge of the mat once again with 40 seconds to go. And then Fritzler with a 2-point reversal as both went to their knees, and Fritzler got the 2-point reversal. It's now 10-6. The Mustangs sophomore looking good with 27 seconds to go in the match. This would draw the Mustangs to within 3. Stalemate with 21.7 seconds to go. As Jacob Fritzler is that amount of time away from winning this match for Fort Morgan. They resume, but nothing really happening. Right now, Davis is on his stomach. And a 1-point escape, though, makes it 10-7. Then another 1-point escape. Let's see what the official score is. Still says 10-7 up there. 10-8, yeah, 2 1-point escapes for Ethan Davis. But Fritzler wins the match. We'll take a 30-second break on B106 and B106.com.
And for Fort Morgan, Brian Alvidrez.
All right, Chris Schreiber just awarded a forfeit win for Fort Morgan at 160 pounds. So he was supposed to wrestle Royal Hallman. So now the Mustangs lead by a score of 9-6. Now we're up to 170. Mauricio Zuniga of Montrose. And he is taking on Brian Alvarez, a sophomore from Fort Morgan. We just had a 10-8 victory. Momentarily, as we have a 2-point takedown there by the Mustang wrestler, by Jacob Fritzler defeating Ethan Davis. And the Mustangs now lead the duel 9-6 after the forfeit win. Just updating this on our Twitter account at B106. Yeah, that it'll make you work a little bit faster as soon as you have some forfeits, which we just had here. Still 2-0. We're 45 seconds into the match. Working his opponent is at 170 pounds is Brian Alvarez, a sophomore, against Mauricio Zuniga. And now is that Zuniga flat on his back? Or check that, that's the Mustang wrestler on his back. No, it is. That is Zuniga on his back, and the match is over. A pin in 1:06. So Alvidrez wins that quickly. Now the Mustangs with a 15-6 lead. So we'll keep it right here. Alex Mai at 182 pounds, a sophomore, against Fernando Mosqueda. And this goes by quick. And they go almost out of bounds 3 seconds into the match. There we go, back underway. Shoulder to shoulder are Mai and Mosqueda of Montrose. As they go out of bounds. And the clock continues to roll for some reason. With 1:45 to go in the opening period. And the Mustangs up by 9 points in this duel. On the edge of the mat, these guys are scrambling around, but nothing doing so far here. As they go out of bounds with 1:30 to go in the opening period. And we are still scoreless. We'll recap this action here coming up momentarily. Still out near the center of the mat. Nothing doing, though. With 1:05 to go. No score. No, it's these upper weights, they work a little bit slower. And when you work a little bit slower, even though Mai just took down Mosqueda, who's in trouble. If he can get that right shoulder down, or that left shoulder, I should say, that's going to be a pin win with 45 seconds to go. But that right shoulder has come up. Alex Mai continuing to work on Fernando Mosqueda. And now Mosqueda to his stomach, so there's not going to be a pin here, but 3 near fall points. And it's a 3-0 lead with 30 seconds to go in the opening period for Alex Mai of Fort Morgan. Oh, he's looking very good now. As we're nearing the end of the opening period, now 5-0, obviously, the 2-point takedown to 3 near fall points. He's got him again in a vulnerable position, and time to pin him here in the opening period. 8 seconds to go. Again, that right shoulder is off the mat. Get that right shoulder down. Now he's got him flat. Is there enough time to pin him? 2 seconds, 1 second, and they will go to the second period. It's going to be 8-0. Alex Mai of Fort Morgan, a sophomore at 182, leading Fernando Mosqueda of Montrose. And the action is picked up here. After we had a pin, taking the bottom now will be Mai. Back underway as they go out of bounds. 8-0 for Mai. Brian Alvarez had a quick pin, and we have an injury to the Montrose wrestler Fernando Mosqueda. So they will attend to him momentarily. He's grabbing his head. With 2 locations in Brush and Fort Morgan, Ingmeyer Phillips Insurance can help you with your home, car, health, or life insurance questions or needs. Ingmeyer Phillips Insurance. And Northeast Colorado's locally owned Hometown Savings and Loan, with locations in Fort Morgan and Brush, Equitable Savings and Loan. They have financial solutions for you, still being treated out there. As the Mustangs now certainly looking better. Looks like he's going to gut it out and continue to wrestle for Montrose. Back underway in the second period. Still 8-0. As they just lock hands there, and then a 2-point takedown just like that off of one quick move for Alex Mai. And the lead is now 10-0, 1:30 to go in the second period. For Alex Mai, the Mustangs lead the duel 15-6 and looking for another pin. And there's the count, but the right shoulder barely off the ground. He's got it a little bit more secure, but still trying to sprawl his way out of trouble is Fernando Mosqueda for Montrose at 182. This could be a technical fall, but he would like the pin. That's what Alex Mai is going for. with 55 seconds to go. Yeah, if he doesn't get a pin, he's going to be very close to the tech fall. It should be 14-0 after some separation here. Now he's got him back down, but this time the left shoulder is off the ground. Alex Mai putting as much pressure on the upper body as he can on Fernando Mosqueda with 34 seconds remaining. And the official looking for that second shoulder to be pinned to the mat. There it is. 3 minutes and 33 seconds on the pin. Let's take a 30-second break on B106 and B106.com. Forfeit victory at 195 for Colton Carpenter, a freshman for Fort Morgan. So we go to 220. Davis Power against sophomore Toby McBride. Mustangs now lead the duel by a score of 27-6. They trailed early in this one, but now are controlling the match. And was that a 2-point takedown? It was near the edge of the mat for Toby McBride, who certainly is a big, strong sophomore. He's already creating problems here for the Montrose wrestler. 2-0 lead. They go shoulder to shoulder here near the center of the mat. And an immediate takedown there. Very quickly by McBride. We could see another pin, but the left shoulder is off, and they're about to go off the edge of the mat, but this will be an extension of the lead after the 1-point escape of the takedown, and now it's 7-1. 2-point takedown, 3 near fall points. Well, a very good night so far for the Mustangs. Outstanding wrestling. And Toby McBride going for Fort Morgan's third consecutive pin. There's another 2-point takedown by McBride. Now it's a 9-2 lead over Davis Power. Fort Morgan with a 27-6 lead in the duel. And no reason to think that they're not going to extend this to perhaps a 33-6 lead at some point here. Jesus Casillas will receive a forfeit victory coming up. In fact, there'll be 3 consecutive forfeit wins coming up for Montrose, so they'll get back in the duel just off of the forfeits. But right now, Toby McBride with a 9-2 lead as we're about to head to the second period at 220 pounds against Davis Power. And they'll make the determination right now who's going to be on the bottom. And on the bottom will be the Mustang wrestler, Toby McBride. So he will take bottom. And we're back underway. And an immediate takedown. And wow, just domination right off the whistle. And this could be it right now. Power's in big trouble with 1:47 to go. All the weight that McBride can put on Power is what he's doing right now. But the left shoulder just a little bit off the ground. With 1:30 to go. We can maneuver the other shoulder. This will be a third straight pin for the Mustangs. With 1:25 to go in the second period. Fort Morgan is going to be leading this duel 33-6. If the pin can be recorded here by Toby McBride at 220 pounds. Boy, he's just got to get that right shoulder down. The left shoulder's come up and the right now come up. We have 1 minute to go in the second period. Either way, if he can't pin him, he's going to have a huge double-digit lead. And there's the pin. 3 minutes and 6 seconds. 3:06 for Toby McBride. We'll take a 30-second break and come back after this on B106 and B106.com. John Beltran back at Fort Morgan High School. We have 3 consecutive forfeits now.
And at 120 pounds,
for
Sandoval receives a forfeit.
Montrose. In fact, this will be 4 consecutive forfeits. Mustangs don't have a wrestler there, so this will go from 33-6 to 33-30.
6 pounds for Montrose. Nick Solo receives a forfeit.
Well, that's 5 in a row. Mustangs don't have a wrestler in the top 4 weights, 106, 113, 120, and 126. Mustangs go from a 33-6 lead and now trail the duel 36-33. And let's see, is this at 132 or 138? I think I heard 138 with Cody Carpenter against Matt Sandoval. There's an immediate takedown. Yeah, that wouldn't. Yeah, that's what that would indicate. I guess 132. I don't know if 132 even wrestled or they have 2 open weights there. But anyway, this is Carpenter against Sandoval. Well, no, it says 132 on the board. So that would be Luis Morales against Jeff Dick. Okay, now I'm back on. Sorry, thanks for calling me. Okay, back on now. All right, lost you there for the second. Okay. Okay, let's get back here to the second period. Lost you there for a second. 6-2 at 132 pounds. Cody Carpenter in the lead. And that's either Jeff Dick or Matt Sandoval out there. For Montrose, the Mustangs trail the duel after 5 consecutive forfeit wins by Montrose. It was 33-6. They pick up 30 points. Now it's 36-33. But the Mustang wrestler with a 6-2 lead. Another 2-point takedown for Carpenter makes it 8-2. Over who we believe is Jeff Dick of Montrose at 132 pounds. And we've got updates of many of the matches there on Twitter at B106. And we will update that momentarily after a series of forfeits that took place. Still 8-2 and another 2-point takedown. Sandoval just working over his opponent after the 1-point escape which preceded that. It's 10-3 right now. Another 1-point escape makes it 10-4. But Sandoval doesn't care about all the escapes. He's well in control of the match. With 1:28 to go, second period. And the Mustangs looking to reclaim the lead in team points. There's another 2-point takedown off to the center of the mat. It's now 12-4. Sandoval leads with 1:05 to go in the second period. Now trying to go for the takedown. That left shoulder down, but the right shoulder still exposed. Now getting close to the pin here is Sandoval. Both shoulders are down. This looks like a pin. There it is. Call that 3 minutes and 5 seconds. For Cody Carpenter. A 3:05 pin. Mustangs now lead the duel. 39-36. We'll keep it right here.
Now for the final match of the evening at 138 pounds. For Montrose, Matt Sandoval. And for Fort Morgan, Ray Navarrete.
Oh, this will be it. This is for the duel. Ray Navarrete, a senior, goes for Fort Morgan at 138 pounds against Matt Sandoval. This will be the final match of the evening, and this will determine the winner of the duel. Because right now the Mustangs lead 39-36. This is at 138 pounds. And again, we'll update all these forfeits here on Twitter at B106 coming up momentarily. We'll get that for you. Just off to the center of the mat. A Navarrete was listed as a 145-pounder, but light enough to wrestle 138. He gets taken down. Well, if this is just a regular victory here for a normal victory for Sandoval, what this would mean is that the duel would end up in a tie. But right now the Mustangs trail 39-36, even though they only lost the opening match at 145 pounds. And now a takedown, and in big trouble now is Navarrete. He's going to be down maybe as much as 7-0. Trying to work his way off the edge of the mat. Yeah, it seems he's going to be outclassed here by Sandoval. And another takedown, and now in big-time trouble is Ray Navarrete of Fort Morgan. There's the pin. He's pinned in 1 minute and 15 seconds. In 1:15, and that means that Montrose wins the duel tonight, 42-39. Let's take a break, and we'll come back with a recap of tonight's matches right here on B106 and B106.com. The Mustang post-match show tonight from Fort Morgan High School is brought to you by Buildings by Design. Knowing who you can trust to do a good job is the tough part nowadays, but when you hire Buildings by Design, you can trust you get the building you want, when you want it, and at the quality you deserve. Start your build project right. Start with Buildings by Design. As was the case on Wednesday night, the Mustangs won more matches than their opponent. Unfortunately, their opponent benefited from several forfeits, and tonight the Montrose Indians win the duel over the Mustangs 42-39. It started at 145 pounds, where Montrose's Austin Delgado defeated sophomore Franco Salas in a pin in 5 minutes and 5 seconds for a 6-0 lead. Jacob Fritzer for Fort Morgan came back at 152 pounds. The sophomore outscored Ethan Davis 10-8. Mustangs drew to within 3 at 6-3. Then Chris Shriver received a forfeit win for Fort Morgan at 160 pounds, making it 9-6. It was 15-6 Fort Morgan in the duel, following a 106 pin by Brian Alvarez over Mauricio Zuniga at 182 pounds, a 333 pin for sophomore Alex Maya Fort Morgan over Fernando Masqueda of Montrose. That made it 21-6. Then Colton Carpenter at 195 pounds receives a forfeit victory. It was 27-6. Toby McBride, a sophomore at 220, with a 306 fall over Davis Power. It was 33-6. Then at 285 pounds, Jesus Casillas receives a forfeit win for Montrose. Same story for Terrell Banuelos at 106, Gus Reed at 113, Emmanuel Sandoval at 120, and Nick Solom at 126. All of a sudden, that 33-6 lead for Fort Morgan became a 36-33 deficit. Then Cody Carpenter for Fort Morgan at 132 was able to pin Jeff Dick in 3 minutes and 5 seconds for a 39-36 lead. But in the final match of the night, it was Matt Sandoval with a 115 pin for Montrose over senior Ray Navarrete, and Montrose wins the duel 42-39. Mustangs are back in action coming up tomorrow in the Roosevelt Invitational, and our final Mustang duel of the 2013 portion of the season will come on Wednesday night when the Mustangs are on the road against the Fort Lupton Blue Devils. Rob Hastings will have all of that action. I'd like to thank our sound engineer and producer, Michaela Klimper, doing a great job tonight, along with our coordinating producer, Alan Lance. I'm John Beltran. The final score of this duel from Fort Morgan High School: Montrose 42, Fort Morgan 39 on B106 and B106.com.